Very good news there. To this story now, the South African government has assured citizens that they'll provide more information if there's a threat on their lives. It follows a terror alert issued by the U.S. Embassy on its website. The embassy warns of a possible terror attack this weekend in Sandton, Johannesburg. The annual Gay Pride March is due to take place in the Sandton area on Saturday, but it's unclear if the potential attack would be targeting that particular event. To discuss this further, we're joined by Jasmine Opperman, a security consultant specializing in extremism and political violence. Jasmine, good morning and thank you very much for your time. I must say, as Gauteng residents, we're very uneasy following that alert, but quite frankly, I think the whole country is uneasy. What should we make of this?
Good morning and morning to your viewers. There are two angles to this matter. First of all, if I look at the alert itself, nothing new. We understand US protocol. They issue these alerts. We have seen it in the past. However, the situation in which we find ourselves puts this alert in a bit of a different context. So the region, much more vulnerable to terrorism. We have seen that with terror financing and the US releasing names of terror financiers. We have seen that with those that have returned from the caliphate, Syria, Iraq. We have seen this now with the Mozambique Cabo Delgado insurgency, where the Islamic State is now present in its most brutal form. And all of these matters and the rise in the vulnerability to terrorism raises serious questions about the ability and the intelligence services' proactive nature in countering any terror threat or attack happening anywhere in South Africa. And this is where the public is stuck. The alert itself, I'd give it a credibility.
But then that becomes the serious question then. Are we adequately capacitated to deal with some sort of a terror attack? Our security apparatus, can it handle such right now?
The problem again comes in. If I look at intelligence, and I'm talking civilian intelligence specifically, they're in a restructuring phase now. The Commission of Inquiry's recommendations to be implemented. How does that impact on the operational capacity? If I look at government's response to this alert, I see a government not well informed on the detail or simply denying that they have received any such information. That does not validate stating that there is no threat. And this raises questions about how the intelligence service is geared towards countering terrorism, not only in South Africa, but in the region.
I think yesterday a lot of people decided to perhaps just venture into the realm of speculation, and some even questioned whether the location of that attack wouldn't have been deliberately revealed to confuse us and then we find ourselves dropping our guard at other locations. I mean, would that not even be possible? We're here, we're told it's Sandton, and then we drop our guard, we go to Menlyn.
Conspiracy theories, bad case scenarios, the last thing we need now. Because now we start and we want to think like the terrorists do, if indeed there is any planning to take place. The information at this time and what we have available is so vague that it can be applied to anywhere in South Africa. If one wants to come, but this is an intentional derailing by certain terrorist groups, let's say the Islamic State. The embassy has received an intelligence report. One would hope that that report has went through a process of verification, but the detail is simply too vague, and I want to ask that we don't go into a mass hysteria based on that alert, which is part of US protocol. We have seen this, it has happened in the past with little actual manifestation of an attack. But like I've explained, we cannot ignore the alert, but put the alert in the context. And I think what we need is a more informative response from our government in terms of where we stand with terrorism in general and where we stand with our countering measures in preventing any attack anywhere in South Africa. It is a red alert for me, more towards how we should respond than the alert itself.
No, fair enough. So they need to prepare themselves for a future event of this nature. So then, at the very least, are you saying that we should be careful, stay away from Sandton and those groupings and those gatherings?
Staying away is a harsh call to make. Precautionary measures from security perspective, there needs to be now an update on what security measures will be in place. If you are planning to go and visit Sandton, make sure that you're informed on the security protocols, make sure you know the access routes, make sure you know the healthcare facilities available when and where, and from there, when you move in, be aware of what is happening around you. For when a shot is fired, be it terrorism or mere crime, mayhem will erupt. And this is the problem we are stuck with. One single shot will create mass confusion. And hence I'm saying precautionary government needs now to step up and tell and inform South Africans why it will be safe to go to Sandton. For what we're sitting now is a question of, will I take my family to Sandton this weekend based on the government's response, based on the alert? Quite frankly, no, I will not.
All right, Jasmine, thank you very much for your insights. That's Jasmine Opperman, a security consultant specializing in extremism and violence.